let's talk about the cost of isolation, that cost of putting up walls, that cost of, I don't want to get hurt again, so I'm not going to connect with someone. Isolation is going to slow your growth. That stuckness you're feeling, you're going to be there longer, and it's going to feel more stuck and more sticky and harder to get out. You need connection. Welcome to Step Into Your Story. I'm Carla Goldberg, and this is a place to breathe, listen inward, and step into the story your soul is guiding you toward. If you feel there's something missing in your life or you're drawn to develop your spiritual side, you are in the right place. Today, we are going to be talking about the importance of community for spiritual growth. And this is so important that I'm going to be doing a series about this. And I'm really excited because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I knew I had to record today because I got to get it out on Wednesday. And I went to bed last night and I told my higher self, okay, I want to know what it is I'm supposed to do for my podcast. I know you're going to give it to me because I haven't been freaking out about it, but please give it to me during the night. And I woke up and sometime in the middle of the night, and community was the focus. And then I was pulling my cards from my favorite deck, which is the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle. Absolutely love this deck. I put a lot of love into it, so that also helps. And what is so cool is the card I pulled was the connection card. So for today. So everything's in alignment as it should be. So I know there's going to be some magic and some truth and some stuff coming through that you're going to be like, yes, this is what I needed to hear. So let's start and talk a little bit about community as sacred geometry. So community isn't just connection, it's an energetic architecture. When two or more are gathered with intention, a geometric field forms. We have circles, spirals, triangles, all types of ancient shapes that hold transformation. Your soul story unfolds inside these shapes, not in isolation. You don't have to know sacred geometry to have your story unfold. That's the magic. It just happens. But if you're tuning into it, you can accelerate that. Community is a living pattern that amplifies healing and remembrance. So that's why community is so important. We need to really tap into that and not shy away from it. So we're going to talk about community today. And let's start off with what is community beyond the social definition, right? What is it? Community in terms of a spiritual life and a spiritual being. What is that? So one of the things is community is a mirror. Others reflect parts of our story that we can't see alone. And a good example of this is when people trigger you. And I've talked about this before. When you're being triggered, it's not the person who's doing the annoying thing. They're just showing a mirror that there's something in you in that arena, that topic that needs to be addressed. So it's that same kind of mirror reflection. A mirror's put up and we're like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So community as a mirror. And when people are reflecting, they help you recognize your gifts, blind spots, and brilliance. So a mirror isn't just negative things to work on. It also shows you, wow, I really do have these skills, these abilities. I'm not making this up in my head. People are telling me this and they have seen it, right? So that makes it real. In a spiritual sense, a community is also a container. It's a safe place to practice being the next version of yourself, that future timeline where you're supposed to be. A container is also a place where you start to become who you are without the judgment. And I have a story of a friend who was working on her channeling. She was new to it, but she could feel things coming in. And so a group of us went and let her practice on us. And She was channeling things that were not the highest beings. They were things that were a lower level of frequency. Um, and so some of the people in the group were like, well, afterward, they're like, she really wasn't tapping into the highest, blah, blah, blah. And I really held the space where she's learning. None of us do it right the first time 100%. It doesn't work like that. So that is a great space where you can hold that container and give grace. And I was able to give that grace because she's learning. Of course she's going to mess it up. And some of the stuff she said was right on. So we just need to give her that feedback lovingly, not condemn her, right? So when we are part of a container, we really need to pay attention that we are allowing that grace so we can receive that grace. Community is also a catalyst. Transformation accelerates when it's witnessed by others. So you can see something and you think, wow, that was really cool. And the next day you're thinking, did I really see that? Was I making that up? Does that really make sense? But if you told someone else and they were like, oh my gosh, I was catching that too. Or they're like, yeah, I can totally see that happening for you. That creates a growing experience because it's witnessed. And you can borrow that courage and clarity from the collective field. Okay. It's not just relying on you going cray cray. Going back to the story of my friend who was channeling, afterward, we had talked, just the two of us, and I gave her my feedback about, what was right on, and it really helped her gain confidence and to know that she could do better. I didn't give her the negative um, feedback because I know the other people in the group were going to give that to her, and I wanted to build her up. Community matters for your soul story. This is a significant piece you don't want to miss. Your soul story is relational. I've never heard of someone coming to Earth to have their soul story and their purpose that doesn't involve anyone else, that they're off by themselves. It may happen, never heard of it, but usually our soul purpose is to be with others and connect with them. There is a connection piece, a relational aspect of it. You discover your role in the larger human narrative through others. And your story needs witnessing. A story unshared just stays theoretical. When we share it, when we add voice to that story, whether it's through writing, talking, art, music, whichever genre you want to use to add your voice, it adds a concreteness to it. And being seen makes your truth real and embodied. You step into it. Yeah, it's scary. Oh, it's scary. And you're afraid other people are going to think you a whack job, but you got to step into it. Acknowledge your fears, move past it. And acknowledging those fears, that's a healing technique I use when I'm working with my clients, is we can bring up that fear. We feel the feels, move past it, clear it, and then we can move on. But we have to acknowledge it. Stuffing down those fears and trying to ignore it do not help. You can't hold an entire transformation alone. We're not designed for that. Humans are not designed for that. We are designed to be connected. If you try and do it alone, it's not going to work. Community helps you stay aligned when those old patterns try to pull you back. And you can make a major shift, but all major shifts, we're going to feel that pull back because there's a reason we were stuck there for a long time. And you need someone to mirror, give you that piece of what it is you're doing or not doing to pull you back into that space you don't want to be. Sometimes you're not ready to see that mirror reflection, and that's okay. It can take you a while to get there. And as long as you're in a loving community, you're good. We all go at the speed we need to be at in the moment. Your story expands in connection. Growth is amplified when you're surrounded by others who are also growing. It's an amazing thing when a collective comes together and one person grows, the whole group can grow. It's like just a momentum, like going down a hill, a ball going down a hill. You just push it a little bit and like boo, 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 boo. It just keeps going and gaining momentum. And everyone around it can feel that ball going down. And it's the same thing with our energy and our growth. So hang on to that ball as it's going down the hill, right? Together we can go faster and move more. You remember who you are when you're clearly seen. So when you're with people that you have that connection, it's going to be authentic. A lot of times when we're by yourself, we have self-doubt about our story, what happened, any growth we did, because we don't have anyone to tell it to and for them to remind us how far we've grown. We have people that we signed a soul contract with when we came here to Earth that we were going to do things with and experiences we were going to have. And those people arrive on Earth expecting you to have that experience. So there is a soul agreement. So if you're off by yourself and you never get connection, you're not getting what you signed up for. You're missing a greater purpose. So seek that connection. Community is also a collective remembrance. When we gather together, we activate ancient memory. And I have a friend who I had an amazing relationship with, and we together, when we would talk, just even on the phone, we would like activate each other. She would say something, and then like I would have memories or visions or clarity. And I would say something to her, and she would have the same thing. And it was funny because it was hard to have a conversation because we were just pinging each other back and forth. And that's something I don't have that with many people. That was a special experience, but you have people in your life who are designed to do that and have that experience. So if you're isolating yourself, you're not being able to expand in amazing ways. We can heal ourselves and do a self healing, but something magical happens when another person comes in and does the healing with us, whether it's for us or we're doing it as a group. A new level of frequency and healing is released when that happens. Isolation is going to slow your growth. That stuckness you're feeling, you're going to be there longer and it's going to feel more stuck and more sticky and harder to get out. You need connection. Isolation distorts your story. We talked about that before. Having someone to tell your story and then have them say it back to you gives you so much clarity. I know it doesn't make sense in the physical world, but it does when someone says, "Remember that time that you did such and such?" Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. We remember all the times that we did things that were not good, but we have a hard time remembering the great things we did. You need someone to reflect that back to you. Isolation convinces you your voice doesn't matter. If you're not speaking your voice and feeling that exhilaration that happens, you're not going to share it. And when I say voice, it's like early when I talked about voice can be art, music, writing, physical voice, means a lot of different things. So don't think it's just saying something. Isolation makes you forget your soul's original instructions and what you signed up for and what you want to be and what you want to do and your experiences. We are not designed to evolve alone. I don't know how many different ways I can say this. And it's when you're going through a spiritual change and the people around you, like your family, your friends, are not in that space, it can feel really lonely. And it's even more important to reach out for connection. Another cool piece, I'm into sacred geometry, and community is a sacred geometry. And they are connected. Circles create equality and safety. Spirals represent evolution, return, growth. Triangles symbolize support and stability. And the group becomes a geometric field that can hold transformation when we come together, two or more. There's something amazing that happens. For homework, I want you to identify what shape your current community is around you, your spiritual community. And if it's not what you're looking for, what shape are you wanting to develop? And reflect on what needs to shift in your own life so you can get there. So, we talked about circles are equality and safety, spirals are evolving, returning, healing, growth. Triangles symbolize support and stability. And some of you may be thinking, yeah, I'm none of those. And that's okay. Because if you feel scattered, this is still a shape. It's not wrong. It's not a failure. It's simply information. You might see a broken circle where the pieces of support are no longer holding a solid container, right? People have fracked it off. You might see a web missing threads, like lots of connections, but nothing that feels strong or central. You could see stars scattered across the sky, beautiful points of light that haven't yet formed a constellation. These shapes are parts of your journey that show up during seasons of transformation, awakening, identity shift, the exact moments when your soul story is rearranging itself. Scatteredness is not the end of the story. It's the geometry that appears before a new pattern forms, before a circle closes, before a web strengthens, and before a constellation emerges. Whatever shape you see, honor it. It is a snapshot of where you are in your becoming, not a judgment. Your soul is simply preparing the space for the community that will hold your next chapter. For your homework, I want you to identify the shape of your current community, identify the shape your soul is asking for. And if those two do not match up, reflect on what needs to shift to move from one shape to the other. And I would love for you guys to send me a message about where you're at, what shape you're at, what you want to achieve. And because I love just hearing that people are out there listening and growing. And speaking of that, um, I have some reviews to read that people sent in, and Nicklin08 gave me 5 stars and says, love it. And she put in inspiring and a great listen. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. I have a review from Lauren Chapnick. The title is Calming and Inspiring. Carla has such a soothing voice, and the show is a great way to recharge and find inspiration. Carla reminded me to care for myself and listen to that inner whisper. Total breath of fresh air. A must listen. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate your comments. And I would love it if you could subscribe, leave a review in all of the methods I'm using, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, because that really helps the algorithm so this message can get out to more people. Because if it touched you, I know it's going to touch more people. Until next time, walk gently, listen closely, and keep stepping into your story.